and they'd say, you be one with God, and somehow I made the connection. Oh, that must be what they're talking about. That's what it feels like. You see, this teaching is a teaching of art and science, and the art part of it deals with the feeling of it. You can't just speak it. You just can't stay in the intellect. You can't think that it's some far place off. What I'm suggesting is that it's right here and right now, and you have to know what it is for you. And so basketball then is a very simple game. There's 4 things primarily happening if you don't know. You are either dribbling, shooting, rebounding, or passing. And that's about it. Dribbling, shooting, passing, or rebounding. Very simple. Now, everybody has to dribble. If you can't dribble, you can't play basketball. In other words, dribbling is fundamental. It's fundamental to the game. It's fundamental in that everybody has to practice dribbling, or you can't play. It's the same thing, you see. You've got to be practicing the principles, or you can't play. It's fundamental. You've got to be practicing the principles. You've got to find time to tone your skills. You've got to find time to learn how to dribble with your left hand and dribble with your right hand. Everybody has to know how to dribble to play basketball, or you can't play. And if you don't practice, you can't play. Tell somebody, your neighbor, if you don't practice, you can't play. If you don't practice, you can't play. And so we got to be practicing the principles. You see, this is how I began to understand these principles and practices. This is how I began to invite it into my own life to move me into becoming someone new, to be able to say, glory, glory, hallelujah. My life has changed, you see. And so in basketball then, you definitely want to be putting the ball in the basket, because that's how you win the game. I mean, ultimately, if you don't put any baskets, if the ball doesn't get into the basket, you don't win. And you do want to win, or you at least want to give it a good try, right? So putting the ball in the basket is very important. And rebounding is as important, because when you rebound, what happens is, the ball gets shot and you jump up to get it, and so you block things out. You block people out. You block old ideas out. You block old ways of being, old ways of doing. You get yourself centered. You see, I'm talking about changing your life. You get yourself centered. You see, blocking is very important. All the 4 things in basketball are very, very important. They can change your life. I know it to be the truth. So what I haven't talked about, though, is passing. Now, passing the ball is very important. Probably the most important thing, because everybody's not a good passer. Everybody can't pass the ball, because passing is that part in basketball that leads you to possibility. To be a good passer, you have to see what's possible. To be a good passer, sometimes you have to contort your body. Sometimes you go real fast. Sometimes you go real slow. Sometimes you throw it up high. Sometimes you throw it down low. Sometimes you put it on your back. Sometimes you put it through your legs. Sometimes you pass it through other people's legs. Sometimes you fake and then you pass. And this is all happening at the same time while everybody is moving. Nobody's still. Everybody is moving. And sometimes with the passing, when others are playing defense, there might be 2 or 3 or 4 people all around you, in your face and in your space, but there's always that one moment, you see, where God through you, God through me, moves me to let the ball go in that moment, through their hands, right, through their hands, in that moment. See, that's God through me. You have to know God in me, God through me, so that when you get what it feels like, God through me, that you won't hesitate. Pastors don't hesitate. Soon as they see that moment, soon as they get clear that now is the moment, they release the ball. Boom. You can't hesitate. You can't, be doing this. Pastors don't do that. They see what's possible and they go for it. They go for it. And so I'm here to invite you, each one of you, to begin to think about the things, the gifts in your life that have found you, to tell you more about life, to open you up to what's possible, to remind you that God is in you always. See, when I think about basketball, in that moment, I realize that I'm one with God. In that moment, I get the feeling of being on the court. In that moment, I get the sense of putting my shoes on and getting prepared. And then when I touch the ball, oh God, I'm there. I'm there. And so you have to find out for yourself. You have to be willing to look in your own life to become one with what's not so far off, but what's right where you are. That's how you change your life. That's how you understand God in me. That's how you understand God through me. That's how you understand God as me. See, shooting is God as me. You can't be scared to shoot. You've got to shoot the ball or you don't win. You've got to shoot the ball because once you get what's possible, you've got to be willing to accept it in your life. Shooting the ball is accepting all the good in your life. And you can't be afraid to shoot. Right? When I was playing basketball, I was a pretty good passer and I could shoot pretty good. But I liked passing way more than I liked shooting. Okay, I think. Sometimes, anyway. But what I realized is that you got to be willing to do all of it. All of it is important. And passing, as I said, is our ability to stand freely open to express who we are and to accept the goodness in our life. So when people ask me now about my ministry and how I'm doing, I oftentimes will describe it as a basketball game. And I say something like, oh, I'm shooting threes all the time. And sometimes I don't. I'm shooting threes all the time. And if you get in my way, I'll dunk on you. I don't care. I don't care. I'm shooting all day, every day. So imagine with me, if you will, go inside in your own life to find the thing that found you probably a long time ago. You know what it is. Don't deny it. Open up to it and let it begin to help you gain a better understanding and to invite these principles and practices into your life where you experience heaven right here and right now. So, practitioners, join me as we anchor these words in prayer. And so now I just invite each one of us, as we allow our minds to be in that place, in that space of just knowing whatever that thing is that has found us when we were younger, in that place, in that space, that place where we are beyond time and beyond space and nothing else matters, where we find ourselves one with the one. One with the great power and presence of God, and it's undeniable. One with that source and that substance of life that is eternal and everlasting, that is animating us, that is causing us to be more of who we are in this moment. And as we do, then we join with it. We affirm all the days that we are one with this great power and His presence. And that everywhere that I am, it is. And everywhere it is, I am expressing to me, through me, in me, and as me in ways that I can understand. You see, the universe is perfect in its unfolding, and it'll express to you, through you, in ways that you can understand it. And so I speak my word and affirm for each one of us that this thing, the thing itself in us, through us, and as us, that it finds us ready and willing and available to it in all of its goodness, all of its blessings, all of its richness, all of its ideas, all of its glory, all of it that it is, all of its love. That in this moment we become aware of it and we experience it as our very life. God in the flesh. Heaven right here, right now on earth. And I speak my word and declare and decree then that there is nothing within me that denies this as the action and activity of my life and the action and activity that's occurring in your life. And so I know then that as we go forward to discover the life that our soul is seeking, that it comes to us with ease and grace, that we identify it and recognize it as good, that we identify it and recognize it as God in the very things that's in our life right here and right now. We affirm that right here and right now we know God. That our life is the life of God now, and that nothing has to change. No one, nobody, nothing has to change. And now in this moment we begin to experience God. Nothing in the way, nothing blocking, nothing missing, nothing lacking, the all good and the all good. And so I affirm and know then that this is our life, that we live this life, and we are unafraid, unashamed of expressing it and experiencing it, announcing it and pronouncing it. Oh, I'm one with God, and I know all my needs are met. I'm one with the infinite perfection of all that God is. It's flowing through me. It's in me. It's as me. I'm moved to do what I need to do. I am impelled to say and to speak the very words that flow through me as God, as good, changing my life and everybody's life that I come in contact with. And so, in this moment then, I just give thanks. I give thanks for the unfolding of the divine power and presence in my life, and its ease and its grace, and my ability to see, to sense, and to know that it is God and only God. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for it. I scream hallelujah for it. Oh, yes. And so as then we live in the demonstration of it already being done, as we live in it being embodying it fully and wholly as our life, then we live in the demonstration. See, in the mind, it's already done. And if it's in the mind, then we know it must be made manifest in the physical. And so, as we are then moved then into an even greater expectancy, as we live in a demonstration of more good, more God, more and more and more of the divine power and presence in us, through us, and as us. And knowing that it's done, then it is with ease that I let these words go and I let them be. And together we anchor by saying, and so it is.